The 100 Girlfriends That Really Love You is one of the most insane mangas I have ever read. It follows Aijo Rentaro, who after getting rejected by 100 girls in middle school has a confrontation with God himself, where he proclaims to Rentaro that he accidentally gave him 100 soulmates that he has to be with, otherwise they'll die. And just off that plot alone, you know this isn't going to be your stereotypical romance manga. Not only is having 100 girls an insane goal for this manga to achieve, but the manga offers so much more than just romance. I'm usually not that big of a fan of harem manga because it tends to lose that real feeling of love and leans more into fan service, and the protagonists are usually boring and generic as fuck. But the 100 Girlfriends manga does a great job with Rentaro. He is such an insane character in every possible meaning of the word, as he genuinely seems like he will do anything, and I mean anything, for his girlfriends. Whether he has to spend every single dollar he has or drink poison that could literally kill him instantly, he does it all with a smile. And I think that just how insane and over the top he is when it comes to doing whatever his girlfriends ask is the main part that makes him such an entertaining protagonist. He also has to have the record for the longest love confession in one page. Like, holy shit, I could only imagine how painful this was to write for no reason other than the author was bored as fuck and decided it would be funny. The manga is also great at focusing on the romance and the love that the characters have for each other, which is something I was definitely not expecting from this manga, as the girlfriend's reciprocation of love can sometimes be just as insane as Rentaro's actions. This manga is also really good at intertwining comedy into each chapter to keep everything funny and entertaining, and usually has the main character doing something completely insane, like making armor out of photos of his girlfriends. He also romances one of his girlfriend's mothers, which, I mean, salute to Rentaro, he's joined the MILF Hunter army. I know Kakuin would have been proud. The manga also isn't afraid to get a little self-aware. There are so many moments when characters will reference the manga author and his inconsistent manga schedule. And also, moments like when Rentaro turns into a goddamn statue and the characters comment on it. But there are also plenty of moments in this manga where it references other animes, like when Rentaro cosplays as Frieza from Dragon Ball, or shows up as an Eva from Neon Genesis Evangelion. All the self-aware humor comes out of nowhere, and I think that makes it so much more hilarious because you're just not expecting it. And I think that by doing this, it makes this manga so much more than just a romance manga, with at times it feeling more like a gag manga with romantic aspects. But trust me, there are still plenty of romantic moments in this manga, with surprisingly well done emotional moments, especially towards the start of the manga. I was shocked with how well the manga balanced the comedy and emotional aspects, as neither of those aspects affect one another negatively and work in harmony to make the manga even better. The characters in general are also great. With this being a romance manga, all the female characters' designs and concepts are very creative and highly detailed. I thought that trying to make all the characters unique from one another was going to be difficult, especially considering that there's going to be 100 in total. But so far in the manga, we're at girlfriend number 29 and no one character has felt the same. In fact, I would say that they've only been getting better and better with the newer characters as compared to the earliest characters who are closer to being generic. Not to say that's a bad thing, in fact, it's to be expected, as they serve as the introductory characters before you get to meet the more insane character personalities that this manga has to offer. Just for example, Karane is one of the earliest girlfriends in the manga to be introduced. Her personality is that she is a tsundere, and that's it. There's nothing wrong with her being a tsundere, it's just a very common character trait in manga. But for a manga about having 100 girlfriends, it is definitely a necessary character to have. But if you compare Karane to one of the later girlfriends to be introduced, who is a capoeira martial artist who can beat the shit out of anything, including cars, but is afraid of bugs, it sounds like a much more creative character concept and not something I, or anyone who hasn't taken drugs before, would think of as a manga character. And that's one thing I really enjoy about this manga, is to see what crazy girlfriend the author comes up with, because in my opinion, this manga has the most unique and refreshing concepts for characters ever. I also think it's impressive how the manga has done a good job of balancing the screen time for all the characters. As earlier on, it was much easier to give characters plenty of time to shine and focus on their minor details, but the more and more the manga has gone on, the harder it's become to effectively balance out all the characters and fully flesh them out and their backstories. But despite that, the manga has done a pretty good job of this, as while the newer characters haven't been as fully fully developed as ones that were introduced earlier in the series, all the characters in this manga are given their time to shine without having anyone being forgotten about, like some sort of Naruto side character. With one of the only complaints I had for this manga was that the characters who have already had their story played out weren't really doing a whole lot, which is why later on into the manga, it instead focuses on Rentaro's girlfriends as not only the individual, but also as a group, as they work together to support one another in their goals, forming the Rentaro family, where they get up to some absolutely insane shit. It really helped to give characters who have already had their story told a reason to be included in the manga in a useful way, as they serve as mentors for the newer girls who are being introduced. A lot of the girlfriends also have very good chemistry with one another. They're able to get along with each other extremely well and play off of each other's personalities. And that was one thing I liked about this manga, was how the different girlfriends complemented each other's character traits. For example, one of the girlfriends likes to be beaten with a bat, and then later on another girlfriend is introduced who likes violence and happily helps her out. That kind of energy to play off each other is a common occurrence in the manga, and it makes it seem like these characters are especially thought out in that regard. But if there was one thing that I wish the manga would do more of, is to get more into the romance between all the girlfriends and Rentaro, and focus on developing their relationships a little further beyond a superficial level, which seems to be the current direction for the manga at the moment, but we'll have to wait and see. While the manga can sometimes feel like a gag manga that is filled with nothing but meta jokes, it is still a romance manga at heart. And with the manga having more romantical moments and working on building the girlfriends' relationships with Rentaro even more, the manga has long since cemented itself as one of the best romance mangas with its perfect blend of romance and humor. Even if I think the manga could also benefit from some more emotional moments in the manga, as while I did say there were some, they mainly happened early on. The manga is still amazing regardless, and has done a fantastic job remaining as creative as possible. It's one of the few manga serializing at the moment where I look forward to each chapter's release, because I know it's going to be good. And I can't wait to see how the manga continues to unfold and what kind of batshit insane character will be introduced next. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.